And we got about 10 seconds till the open. It is Friday, the 1st of February. We lost another month already. Used it up. I hope everybody has a great weekend. Planned. Okay, we're off and running. Let's see what the markets are going to bring for us today. All right, let's look at our Cigna. Okay, and analyze. Okay, I'm out. Cigna, small profit. I'll take it. Merck. Let's see, what's Merck doing today? It's up there. I'm going to give it a little bit in case it pulls back a little bit. There's a 5 minute. Oh, just be quiet, buddy. All right, give me a second. I'll kill a dog here. Hey! Be quiet. Come here, buddy. Sit. Come here. Come here. Get here. I don't need your fucking noise. Sit down. Shut up. Sit down and shut up. Sorry about that, folks. They go absolutely bonkers when trying to play the murky. All right, I'm out Merck at 199. Um, I'll figure out where we what we did here later after the dust settles. All right. Let's look at that deck. Deck came roaring back. Here's why you don't chase stuff in the pre-market. This just got way too far ahead of itself. Go to a 5 minute here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the data series to regular trading hours now, because the other stuff was just silly.
gap up and crap, gap and crap. Overall markets up a little bit. Let's go to a 5 minute here. Now, Deckers at what point becomes kind of a buy? Let's see here. 137-ish was the highs that they had. Let's see, area chart. It's all-time highs. I don't know why they, it's got almost 10% of the float is short, and people were betting against it. So, yeah, this 140 area could possibly be an aggressive trade.
When oncologists use immune...
Oh, would you shut up? That is the people on FinViz. Or maybe it's StockTwits. I don't know. My bad. Okay, Deckers. Where are the other things? Yum China we were looking at. It's about a 39.20. Yum China. It's at 39.25. What the heck is that? There's a Fibonacci drawings. Cancel. Watch over this 39.40 to 39.50 for Yum China. Looks like it wants to run. Yeah. Okay, we're 7 minutes in. Remember, we have 9:45 and then 10 o'clock a big numbers, so be careful. Going over the well, I guess I did the right thing in getting rid of Progressive, because it's coming off really hard. One of the reasons why I got out of Progressive, I'll show you the chart over here to the side. Okay, I had to use a couple of different techniques. It got up to a resistance level, and that's not a reason to sell necessarily. But I looked over on the board of Thinkorswim, and it shows that it has a $2.51 dividend today. And what usually happens is you gap down by that amount. I don't want to sit there and ride through that. Now, the stock option actually gets adjusted for that, so I still don't like it, but I guess it's psychological. It gave a 250 dividend. It's only down $2, so in fact, you're doing better. But anything could happen on those dividends, so I usually sell ahead of them. Normally, though, what happens on a stock that's going up, let's go to Progressive, is that it will get to that level, and then it will gap down, and then it'll gradually start filling the gap over the next couple of weeks. Now that works well for possibly if you've got the stock and you don't necessarily want to ride through the pullback. And it looks like it's already starting to rise a little bit here. See how DEX doing. Whoops, that's the wrong one. DEX now below 140. Just could not handle it. That was way too much of a gap for DEC. Yum China couldn't hold 39 for now. Symantec 2220. Let's see what at $22 level, so want to keep an eye on that puppy. KKR is running. It's probably running up to its resistance level here around 2375 or so. I used to own some KKR and I got rid of it before it changed itself from being a very high dividend play to just an ordinary dividend play, so we got out of it. Had my mother in it. She loves dividends. PerkinElmer, probably a little extended. Here's CVX up at 117, gap in the middle. Right, okay. We're 9:45, coming up, 3 minutes. Let's see what our, good thing we got out of our signal when we did. Let's look at the Qs, look at the markets. S&P's up 2.5, well, Spider's up a whopping 0.15%. Qs are down a bit thanks to Amazon. And let's watch it right here. They're bouncing, but they gapped down and moved up. All right, let's do monitor account statement. Okay, today's the 1st of February. Merck was a whopping 3 cents per times 2 is $6. Okay. It wasn't a loss. Cigna was okay. We got cents times 100. A whopping $68. So we're up $74 for the day. Whoop-de-hoo. Okay. Signal's starting to come back a little bit. See what our semantics doing. Yeah, and pulled back to the 22 and bounced. We'll look at some stocks that are in the 20s and 30s, the lower priced ones. See if we could get a trade there. Yum China. Well, Deck is having indigestion.
Order filled.
I am long some Yum China here for, let's take that down to 200. It's battling with a $40 level. I have to give it some room there. I have too many shares on at the moment.
Order filled.
Okay.
Order canceled. Order filled.
Okay, I took 100 off so that I've got right amount.
Order canceled.
100 off, so I've got basically 200 shares now. So what I should have done in the first place. We're back up battling 40 at Yum China. Hey, Joan. All right. What do you mean, rut road? Too many shares? Yeah. Yeah, but when we get filled, I could sell it. You know, that's not a big deal. It's a little spready, a little bit whippy around this $40 level. Try to see if it can hit 25-ish. I've got our order in at 22. We hit 23 earlier. We're kind of bouncing around that. I think I'm gonna get filled here.
Target filled.
Yep, I just got filled, and let's go to break even. I pulled back quite a bit then, didn't it? Pulled back to the $40 level.
Order
Go ahead and
canceled.
close it. Made a whopping 49 bucks on that. All right. Bought. Let me see what I got in at. Okay, sold. Get back to what I wanted to have the right amount, and sold 100 at 39.9. 3 sold. Okay, not exactly in that order. 40.16 and 93. All right. I think that comes out to about 50 bucks, but we'll see. See, we got 200 with 6.5 cents. That was plus 13 on the first 200, 100 at is one more dollar than that. That's a $14 for the stop. And then for the 4016, we got up there at 15 and 16 is 31. 8. That shows 58, so I don't know why it shows 49 there. Oh well. Unless my math is off. And we'll figure out what we did here in a minute with the volatility crushers. $203 to do. Let me set this 68. Okay. What was it? It was $2.03. Sold CI straddle. $9.53. What did I say that was? 68. Okay. Not a lot to show for today though, but you know, we got 6, 68, and 58. You know, there's time enough for counting when the dealing's done, right? All right, let's go back over general. Anybody else do any trades today? Cigna came roaring back, but it's still not where I sold it. So where I covered it, bought it back. I kind of got lucky on Merck and Cigna, to be honest with you. critiquing myself. What I probably should have done with Cigna was do a 205, 210. This would have been an iron condor type of thing. That way, I wouldn't have got nearly as just cron. You've been doing that quite well the last few days, you know. You've been knocking it out of the park with Spot and Cron yesterday for what, $458? Oh, no. As long as it works, then you know the stock. I used to trade United Technologies back when it was in the $50 range. I knew exactly what the market maker was going to do, and I basically followed him. You get to know it. That's the beauty of having a small universe too. Let's see what Deck's doing here. Deck's going nowhere. Yeah, but that's what I should have done on that one. And on Merck, probably should have done also the Condor. And this one's running. This is probably going to run up here to around 79. Let's take a look. It's not all that cheap. And a little extended on the 5. We did have kind of the breakout here around 76 to 76 half. I had $76. 76.50 is probably more the breakout level. And you see how we got up to 76, 75. Did a doji, so we did a wide range bar. Let's make that a 10-minute chart. And you can see probably how that's going to work. Coming up, we just came up at the 10 o'clock reports. We got bunches of them, and that didn't do anything for us. What's today 3-minute do? Yeah, okay. Up, doji up. So therefore we had a continuation pattern there. This is a bigger doji, a couple of them. Yeah. Let's look and see the markets. Spiders likes the numbers. They like the numbers. So I might have just gotten lucky a little bit. I kind of make a living on you make a living shopping. Right. Let me Shopify. Well, one of the reasons you're probably doing well in shop is the pattern, the trend. This is a pretty solid trend. It really, except for one day here, it has not violated the T-line. Way to go, Joan. Let us know when you get in so we can follow you. Or at least see if we want to get in as well. Not exactly follow, but you know what I mean. All right, let's go back to a 5 here on Merck. Good thing I bailed on Yum China. It's already down to 39. It got down to 39 bucks, so take the money and run. Don't get too greedy. Let's go to Qs. Qs are positive now. Spider's just taking off with those numbers. And what's our Amazon doing? Is it recovering some? Yeah. Amazon recovered some bits of the gap down, which is helping. It's less of a drag on the Qs. Symantec broke over 22.5 and didn't look back. It's up 80 cents, but you go, well, that's not very much. But you buy 400 to 600 shares, maybe 1,000, with a okay 20-cent stop. Let's look here. File. Open. All right, here's a trade calculator. Those should not be in dollars. Oh, that's max number of shares. Okay, trade calc. I have a little thingy here. And let me bring up the right one. Share sizing. All right, let's do a file. Save as. Let's do convert this to XLSX. All right. And Woody had what, a 20-cent? You can buy 500 shares for every $100 you wanted to risk. Could have just rested 120 and bought 600. And buys over 22.60, stop around 30, call it 30 cents, so it changes a little bit. 30 cents becomes 400, so you get 30.60 on top of 50 is 23.10. You hit it. You got double on the first one. You still got 200 shares left. Raise your stop up probably to this level, 22.75 or so, and then just trail it up. Go one candle below, or one candle behind it, and a little bit below it. Thank you very much, Chris. Glad to have you here, Chris. Appreciate it. Probably time for Symantec to pull back. If you were in it, you'd be probably knocking yourself out right now. Unless you wanted to stay and let it get below 22.80. So I'm probably done for the week. I'm just going to stay with you guys until lunchtime. I do have to be over. I have to leave around 12:30 to go over to my mother's house. She's got a visiting nurse coming over for her activator long-term care. I've got to help her. It's just not one thing and it's other. I'm getting old. I don't think you should be trading on a Friday afternoon anyway. I mean, probably should not be trading longs with this, with the with what the move we've had here for the last few days. Let's say we wanted to risk $100. I've got a little calculator here, spreadsheet that I've. All right, let's do 2 lots here. Let's, instead of microchip, let's call it Symantec. All right, and we went long I'm going to call it 2260. The stop, we're going to make 2230. Risking 30 cents, says we could buy 333 shares. It's actually going to make it 400. Just fill in all the blanks. And the first set was 2310. Oops, yeah, right. And I calculated 2290 would have been, did it, yeah, right. And we got 2277, let's call it. All right, so we'll lock in $134 on 400 shares if we get stopped out at 77. What we've got going on now. Now, if all right, so we'll see there, and we've got 77 Sunset Strip. All right, let's just mark that up that way. That will be what our pick out a color. Rouge Donut Peak. All right, that'll be our stop. And if we got 77, we'd only make 34. We made 100 on the first. Don't know how we did that. We did, okay, because that's 50 instead of 60. So 123.20. That should have been that. Okay, so we've got 120. All right. Now, does anybody would like a copy of this trade calc tool? I can let you guys have it, and also you fill in a dollar amount and tells you at whatever price how many max number of shares for your account that you can. Let's just say if I have a $50, what do we have? $23 stock. Call it 25. I can buy 1,000 shares. I don't use that. Okay. The only thing that I use it for, the max shares, is my idea of where I can be trading on shares, and then right in here, I can explain a little bit greater detail. Enter the data in the cells. You just enter all the yellow. You enter obviously the name and whether you're going to have 2 or 3 lots. Because I've got ones for 3s and for 2s. So what you do is you enter this number, which is the entry, the stop level, and then how many you really buy. This is a calculation of how much, again, to risk $100 you could buy. So I rounded it because it's $120. It's fine. And then we got to double. We're looking like this might just be doing a 3 or 5 minute J hook. That would work for us. I don't normally do that. Let me do a file, save as. Let me pull this out of the way real quick. Oh, I don't want to sign in. Come on. I want to pull this out of the way. I got too much up there. All right, there we go. Okay, I've got one that's also a short down there, so that it flips the things the other way. If if you happen to want to do that. And you could use it where I've got daily totals or something like that. So this would be SYMC. And you can, if you want to, you could automatically tie them together if you want. But this equals that. And then this one would be equal that. Right, that basically tells you the R factor. Everybody know about the risk factor and the totals? Like the Symantec we did here? Okay, no, okay. So you wanted multiple, these are the R factors and total risk. We had, for the whole trade, this is divided, but we got 2 times what we risked on the first target. Anywhere between about a little over 1.5 to 2 is what you'd like to get. We are moving through 2320 now again on Symantec. Not quite yet to move up to stop with this candle. If we break out above 40 or so, I'd probably move it up here to just under 23. But let me see, if we moved it to 22.93 now, we would lock in $186 if we get filled with no slippage. All right, so let me post that up. Let me then also go into the explanation of risk. Feel free to modify that any way you want. But the idea of risk is you quantify and start with how much do I want to risk on any one trade. And that's really talking about the share sizing side of things. So let's go bring that one up real quick. So what I really do is I say, how much do I want to risk? Max. Now, I maxed 100, but since it was 30 cents instead of a quarter, I just said, okay, the difference, that the only amount I'm risking, even though I put, you know, a lot more than that, 2260 times 400, you know, with about $5,000 in a trade. I'm not risking $5,000. I'm not letting it go to zero. I'm going to let it go down 30 cents and get out. So really what I'm risking, I don't count slippage, I don't count commissions on any of this. And then what I do is I look down to 30 and look over across. It says I can buy 300 shares and risk 90. The calculator says 333. I don't buy round lots. I don't like deal with it. So I moved over to the 120 and 400. So down, over, up. So in this case, we move down to the 30-cent level. We move over to the 120 and move up to here to 400, and you're risking 120 bucks on a trade. So the whole idea of managing risk for me is in dollars. It has nothing to do with percents or how much I've got into the account. Every trade is a factor of entry price, stop price, what's the difference, and compared to what my max would be. And that's how you limit risk and how you grow your account by 50% in 9 months. I'm not sure if you guys know it, but I'm gonna brag on myself again because it works. I'm frustrated here that we don't have more people here. I'm glad to have the people we do have here, so don't get me wrong. But I just don't understand why people won't even spend $14 to give it a try for a month. Um, let's take ourselves up to Top Gun Trading. Now, this was as of yesterday. We had $27,000, 27,724, and we started with 65,000 and change. Let's call it 66. So equals 27,724 divided by okay, I lied. 42%. That didn't include the profits that we had today. So equals 6 plus 68 plus 58. 27. Okay, that's equals that divided by in percentage terms. Type of number 41.89%. I'd probably take that in May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, January. 9 months. I guess you guys can understand. You're here, and we had a pretty good January. October, we had. This is the second best month that I've had in 9 months. So let's take this puppy and move it down. Let's take this puppy right here and move him over. Let's take that font up to okay. Well, last year weren't we about flat? I don't know. Let's put it this way: the market wasn't up 42%, was it? Let me just measure the market by the spiders, right? But you've got a point. How much did I beat the SPY? So let's take SPY. I'll match you. Let's take a weekly chart. And let's take ourselves in from May. Actually, it's the end of April because we started the 1st of May. And where we are today, we were up 1.71%. But yeah, you're right. Okay, so I'm only better than the spiders by 40%. Right. I had some smart aleck just the other day who said, "Oh, I posted that we did well, and I think it was a $600 day or something like that. I was pretty happy with that." And this guy said, "Well, yeah, but what about your losses? You only say the winners." I said, "No. If you want to go into that day or the previous day, what was it? I report the losses. Let's talk about right. I said go into the sell. That $735 day. I had 715 plus 100 and a minus 80. The $21 was just one trade. This one was three trades. The 12 had a 42 and a minus 30. I put down every one of the trades here. I don't document, and it's just way too much for me because I don't have to. I don't have to keep track of it. But what I do is I keep track of, how did I do here? I had a minus 70 on that day. I had a minus 120 on that day. This one we had one trade for 212. That was an option trade, and we had two options trade, and they see. Yeah, I just said I didn't know what his game was, but if you go into each of the cells, and then after I hit the send button, I hit block. So I mean, it's his problem. Mr. Negative, he could have asked the question and it would have been said, does this include only winners or do you also include losers? And then I'd have taken it. Now, text has no tone, but I could figure out that guy's tone. Yeah, okay, let's go back to the daily. So, we're kind of moving. Hey, we're doing all right here. I'll take what we're doing over what most people do. I kind of pride ourselves in the fact that we are open and transparent. I think I got a little bit lucky on these earnings trades. I'm going to back off a little bit on this. I think I'm going to do my own. I'll either do it a little wider, double the percentages type thing, and be a little more conservative. Now it has boosted the profits. It's juiced them just a little bit because I got, I'll say, lucky. But I didn't take the all the recommendations straight out of the box. So yeah, Merck hit the 77. Let's see. Okay, so Merck, the buy was there on a 5-minute chart. It's basically trying to do a J hook. It's just not a big mover. Are you guys? I'm gonna ask. Is anybody reading the blog that I put out every night? Now I was a bit late last night, so I apologize. We had kind of a party to go to that they're recruiting new members for my wife's networking group. So but you have any? Can you give me any feedback? What's good, bad, or indifferent? Woody, I try to do it between 8 and 9 p.m. every night. Let me. No, 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 no. Let me do that. Let me watch it. Some are better than others, you know. Well, there's today's, but you have to be careful. Let me go ahead and log out. And you go to the home page. We have 3 blogs that are put out every day. Now, it's 10:30, so we only got about 30 or 40 minutes to go. This is Rick's blog. Yeah, and we're trying to do a pretty good job of here. And, obviously you've been able to get the RWO. So I don't have to load it again. It's a blogopolis. Okay. So, he puts down a lot of same stuff, maybe. He's got his morning prep video, talks about earnings calendar and things like that. Whereas Rick, hold on a second, I'll show you what is in there. He's got his, he doesn't ever put out any on Friday. So he was really talking about this was, yeah, dotted deuce, which I guess is the forward moving average 200. Right, I'm going to go here to my daily blog. Now, since I'm putting it out the night before and not the day of, I'll put down, hey, this was just, hey, we have been talking about, I know if you've been here, you guys know that I've been saying that I think we're going higher. And even though, and that was primarily because of stochastics RSI. So I pat myself on the back, I know. Don't break your arm, Steve. And then I said it rose as we predicted, but it was the odds where it was going higher because we were rotating around here, but the stochastics RSI was coming up from the bottom on the futures. See that right here? Right here we were staying stationary when we pulled back. We went down on the stochastics RSI. We maintained that 2625 level. We didn't break it. We basically went sideways. Yeah, we went from 2675 to 25. It's 50 points. It was basically marching. And then, where are we going? I said 2,700, and above that, I wasn't even thinking about anything else yet. Now, so I tell you what happened the day before, and we tell you what what we're doing on a 60-minute on the spiders. And I usually go in the futures, which that would have been yesterday, and that would have been in the middle of the night. Then said we put on some trades, and I showed you what we had here put on, and telling you what we were looking at on stocks that reported after the close on Thursday. Talked to other stocks that we were looking at, and then I talked about what our earning stocks are, and I have a link out to all the stocks here on FinViz. So I think there's a lot of information there. Now, when you talk about scans, you're talking about results from scans. The answer is yes. This is prior days. You could go back, meandering ahead of the FOMC. Basically, we're in this huge trading range roller coaster, and we were just doing it for maybe about a week. And I kept talking about right back in here, we're down to 26.25. People get nervous and we're going to break. Now, are you wanting a post of scans for TC2000 or TOS or something like that, or you want just the results? I appreciate the questions. It's great. They're great. Gives us something to keep doing here. Let's go back to our Symantec trade while it was in autopilot. It's probably time. Based on what I see here, let's take it the other side of 31. 23.27, let's put it that way. Some of them, yes. What are you looking for? Probably, my favorite is the J-hook. Let me... Try that one. Let's see if we could open it up. It opens for me. I'll explain this. This is the title. This is from Rick. We did this together. Here are the conditions. We named it AB820. Okay. And really it's the 8 exponentials over the 20 simple, because we want stocks to be going up. The 8 exponentials over the 34 exponential, which is above the 50, because we want stocks going up overall. So we have two of these trends to show the up. We want 2-day lower highs, so it's pull back, not lower lows, but lower highs. And we found out we get better results from that instead of using lower lows. We want it up today, and we want it today over the yesterday's open and close, so it really is going up. Don't worry about the stochastics RSI if you don't use it. Indicators, I use average daily volume, and I use an average true range 14. Now, if you have the latest version, you don't need this. You can go ahead and put the average true range of whatever you want. Ideally, it would be 20, but 14 is good enough. I created this long before they actually put ATR directly into TC2000. And results from those would be something on an order of, let's see, I have a combo of list of stocks and ETFs that are considered tradable. They have average true range, I think of about 50 cents, and Then I look for the J hooks, and I want the stochastics R to be curling up. And we have 8 that are fitting that bill today, or yesterday and today. State Street Bank, it tried to do it back here, it didn't work, but it pulled back to the T line. So it really didn't fail. I'm not sure what, this is also a rounded bottom breakout. I'm going to think that this State Street reported on the 18th. We'll look at it offline. Yep. It reported on that day. You learn to read the tea leaves here. This was a big volume day and a big mover. Somebody paid $76 for this. It will probably go back up to $76 at some point, and it may just meander to get there. It may just do one of these things and whatever and get there. It could even go all the way down here and then eventually get up there. But I think this gets tested eventually. One of the ways to do that is to play, especially a $70 stock, is get a option anywhere about 45 to 60 days out. Directional trade. Put in a few $100s, it's worth a shot. And then don't worry about it unless it craps out. Schwab. It's ostensibly, it does a 2 days lower high and then back up today. It's a rounded bottom breakout wannabe, but it doesn't have enough in percentage. It's only got half of that. Yeah, we'll talk about deltas here in a second if you want. PacWest is more like a pop out of the box type of thing. Sorry, there's the weekly, there's a 3-day, there's the daily, and this is a pop out of the box candidate right there. Now the problem we've got really is that you don't have a great deal of upside before you start running into some sort of resistance. Key, Bank again, Eaton Vance, round and bottom breakout. If you like those kinds of trades, this is pretty good. Bank United, now RBB wannabe, BK, I'm not big on the banks and BBT. So we got a lot of banks doing this today. But what I really would love to see on all of these is, let me back off to, where was it? PacWest, no. All right, now this one didn't do so bad as far as the pullback. It doesn't have a whole lot of dollars in it, but you'd like to see them pull back, and then start to go the opposite direction, to the upside. You couldn't get to pop up. If you didn't get the scan to come up, you probably have either pop-up blockers on if you're using Internet Explorer or whatever, or even Chrome. You've got to go into the settings and make sure that you allow pop-ups on Omnovia site. The other thing is, it could be a security issue if you have either in your browser or your antivirus program. Sorry, I had a rough night. I just woke up about 4 a.m. with just shooting pains in my right hip. If you can't get it, Joan, send me a okay, no problem. But if you can't, send me an email there asking for it, and I'll just send it directly to you in a text form. But you should probably go research the thing to allow you to be able to look at the stuff that we post out here. Now, you see, another thing is I subscribed to a service that recommended selling win puts the other day. And I looked at it and went, well, first of all, we're over earnings. And number two, we're in a, they saw that we were getting up to a resistance level and that we were coming up on earnings and they were playing the downside. Hey, Val. And I skipped that one. Let's look at BK. Yeah, it is. The only negative to here, though, is the fact that from the down here to up there is $1.52. The stop is about 50, 3 to 1. But you can't get there now. You're probably going to have that is target 1, and that's only $1.20, and 60. So you could probably get 2 to 1. I thought originally that it wasn't going to make it, but it does. It does fit the bill. Initially, I didn't think it moved enough, but obviously it does. $1.12 a day. Right. Especially since we're already at 10:48 on a Friday, and I try not to initiate on Fridays. So that rule, that's a soft, mushy rule. And because if you block yourself out of not doing anything, say on one of these trades, you could miss out on a good one. So I don't like to totally discount them. All right, let's see. We've got VMC doing something. And on Friday's Harvest Day, looking at what's going to happen the next week, getting ahead of the game. Vulcan Materials, nah, it's just not going. ADP. ADP, little breakout. Let's take this over here so I can actually see the things. Wally World. Whoa, that's Lowe's. Okay, sorry. Walmart doesn't. Walmart looks like it's got a case of the flu. Hess, played that the other day, made a little money on it. Okay, V-stop. All right. Two-range period 10, 1.5. I don't know what you're talking about at 17 EMA though. Let's pick out what stock are you on? Where won't we go to? And where did you come up with 17 EMA? Hess reported earnings and ran a little bit. Doug showed us that. Okay. Not sure. Red dots are over there. You don't use it the same way? I guess not. He tends to use them. He will not go long a stock unless it's above the dots. I don't use that as a go-no-go criteria. I'm aware of them. I use them as tool is saying if you follow its rules, that's where the stop would be. But I don't use that as the be all end all. To me, price is important, and I think Doug will agree with that. That price is king. Was it in real estate? Location, location, and location. Well, in trading, it's price, price, price. So we're probably headed up to 66 and a half here. Okay, yeah. They're telling me we ought to open up a KSS put. Well, they're talking about and what was that question you had about talk about the delta. Does delta matter on yeah, delta matters a lot. It depends on what that question was. We've gone a ways a bit down the road. Okay, so what were we looking at? Let's just look at KSS for instance. He says you ought to put the 22 Feb. He's going after the weeklies for some reason. It's Bernie Schaefer, and he does tend to want to get it on his own page, so to speak. And the problem I have with Mr. Bernie is he's going to pick out a weekly that doesn't have any open interest. He's going to make open interest here. So he's going to force it. And so he's already got 195 contracts, now 198 traded. They only had 7 open interest as of close yesterday. I suspect that this will have enough. I could go ahead and trade, so I don't need the open interest high today. I needed it open yesterday. Now, the delta right now, you could probably go into this 69 and a half because it's about a 70 delta. This is 74 delta. That's fine. I use the same numbers and that Doug does as far as 70. I use the same criteria for longer term swing trades. And let's say longer term, you're probably talking if I want to be in 5 to 10 days or something, 5 to 7 days versus a 1 to 3 day period or something like that. That we both go out 45 days or so. I'll go down to 30 sometimes. I'll go inside of that as well. If I'm doing an earnings play or whatever, it's going to be minimum of a week out, but it's the closest I can get to, but no less than about a week. So 7 to 10 days. That gives. I don't like 1 dayers or whatever. It gives. I kind of think of it as the buyer, like I'm buying a house or a car, and I'm thinking resale value. I want to let it go up a little bit in value or down, but up in value, up or down in price. And I want to then allow them to have some room after I sell it to them. Otherwise, it's not attractive to them. Okay. Yep. Doug's probably I'll say the best and smartest options trader that I've ever run across. And I've been trading for 20 something years. Now, I trade differently than he does, which is fine, but we have a lot of the same core concepts. So that kind of works. we kind of been all over the discussions here today. What was he also has a maximum entry price of $4. So wants a 70 strike. Yeah. It's bid 4 by 420, and I bet you there's some people that are chasing it. And if you don't get in pretty close to when they recommend it, it's not. The other thing you can do, wait for the inevitable bounce on a 60-minute or a 2-hour chart. They happen a lot, especially if there are recommendations from somebody like like they're getting now they've traded 236 contracts. That's pushing the price down. But I'm going to guarantee you that this is going to get a bounce up here to probably 67.50, and that then would be a perfect opportunity intraday J hook, because we're down at 66.50. We're at a support level. This is not the place to be shorting it. So what I do is I use what is the service or what's the stock? It's KSS, Kohl's. Now, so what I do is I go look Kohl's. Hold on a second. Kohl's reported back over there when it's earnings. Earnings are May the 5th, so they want to get an expiration that's before that. And they're betting on it going down and retesting about the $3 level. Sorry, I'd let it bounce. Yeah. Do I even have the 200? Yeah, we're just slicing through the 200 on my hourly chart. But if you look on the 2-hour chart, I got these from Rick. There's a 4-hour chart. You can see that 66.50 is a pretty, maybe a little bit lower, 66.25, but somewhere in there it's going to bounce. And it'll probably do approximately a 50% bounce off of that. So let's do there. So if it goes from here down to there, that's 280. Let's move it up to 140. And that's 67.45. So I basically I could put a fib on it. I could put a quad on it. But you see, if I put the quads. Let's kill those. I don't want Tyrone levels either. Huh. Weird. Okay. Let's take that back to there. 50% level would be, there would be 75 on a 4-hour chart. 2-hour chart. 1-hour chart. 67.50 to 75. 11 o'clock, Central Europe. No, Eastern time zone. We're getting a little weakness in the markets here. We're coming back. I'm seeing some weakness in some of the stocks that I'm in. I am in United Health. It's overall looking okay. It's over 265. Teradyne. It's a little high and tight, so it's doing all right. Progressive, I am not in. I was in, and I sold the options. Have really not gone down that much, even though the stock price. But I'm going to have to find out what happens when they do a dividend exactly. Okay. Pulte Homes. I think it may get adjusted, you know. PHM. I'm out, so that doesn't look half bad for me. Stochastics RSI starting to roll over here. I am in JetBlue. Now let's, I'm not in Progressive, so. Oh. Let me leave that on for the moment. What I do want to do is get rid of Pulte. I don't want to keep track of stuff that I'm not in. I don't want to keep track of Merck. And it's up to 280 from my $2 that I got this morning. Cigna's pretty much recovered. If I had little cojones, I could have made a couple $100 on that one. So, you know, silly me. It got all the way up to 1277 near the open, and open it was, yeah, it got up to 11. We got in down here, closed it out because I was afraid of it dropping. It did. Whole idea was the volatility crush, and it worked of sorts. Try to play it a little bit differently going forward. BMW looks a little toppy on price. Stochastic says, not so fast, my friend. It looks like it might want to, you know, go through it. And profit taking here. It's the third time up, though. I don't think it's anything to worry about. And, oops, wait a minute. Let me see where I'm at. I got $5 profit in it right now, but it down a whoopee-doo. Gold looks a little toppy to me. Looks like if we get follow through down here. But if you look at the longer term in gold, there's the longer term in gold. We're up to 128. Oops. Okay, there's gold. I'm in Synchrony Financial, but it's just treading water. Now, here's where stochastics and the art of reading stochastics comes into play. This is similar to what we had, a little bit, I say similar, to what we had in the markets. We're going sideways here, and stochastics pulling back. that tells me that we're resting and building up strength for the next move. It's a lot like trying to climb a mountain. You can't go straight up. It gapped on earnings from 26.66 to 30. It's a lot for this stock. You know, it's a bank stock. Bank stocks don't just, they're not growth stocks, you know? So I'm in a longer dated option to March, so that I got it back over here. And I'm going to try to let it creep upwards. And JB Hunt, I'm no longer in, but I'm watching it. I mainly out of morbid curiosity, I guess. There's no way I'm getting back in the way it is at the moment. So I am going to take JB Hunt off the list so I don't waste my time. I'm in Jet Bleu. It bounced up here to 1850 and pulled back, which you could have expected based on what we saw over here to the left and left right there in the middle. But it's still climbing up the T-line. I have not closed below it in a while. Did we get Teradyne already? Yeah, high and tight. On a 6-month chart. It's battling with this area right at here. Stochastics is pulling back a little bit, but price is holding. I'm down 25 whole dollars. Whoop-de-doo. All right. Do you guys have anything you want me to look at? I mean, we're probably only got about another 15 minutes or so, and then I'm going to step aside, get ready to go visit my mother. Let's go look at the Qs. They're flat now. SPY's up 50 cents. Let's go here to 3 months. And I said this 168.50 and the Qs is big. We're just kind of meandering around. We're trying to get ready for the weekend, it looks like. Trying to close out a good, profitable week, I would think. All right, no further questions. I'm going to stop the recorder.